Hello, everybody. This is Zach's at it again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and this is the most monumental day of my career, let alone one of the most exciting moments of my life. To talk to an entertainer that I have loved and adored my entire life, Emmy winning television legend. You know her from the Carol Burnett Show and Mama's Family as the character of Mama. Um, Vicki Lawrence is with me. Thank you so much, Miss Lawrence, for being on my podcast today.
Oh, thank you, Zach. Please call me Vicki.
Oh, may I call you Vicki? May I say my
You
friend?
may.
May I
Miss
say?
Lawrence makes me feel so old.
May I say? May I say? Please welcome to the podcast my friend, lit television legend Vicki Lawrence.
Sure.
Oh, my 12-year-old daughter is a big fan of yours as well.
Yes.
She is livid that I would not let her check out of school an hour early so she could talk to you. So hopefully, um, we will get to say hello to you at the North Carolina show. You are performing on May the 9th at the Newton Performing Arts Center. Your two-woman show, Vicki Lawrence and Mama. Um, and I hope that we'll be able to be there. This is the first time you've been within driving distance of my home in Whiteville, Virginia, in 20 years.
Really?
Yes.
I think
Uh,
we've been to Newton before.
you've been to Newton before, but you've sold out so fast I've never been able to get there. 20,
Oh.
20 years
Well,
ago.
but we're friends now, Zach. So
Yes.
you just call and say, I need a couple of tickets,
That's right.
Vicki.
That's right. Well, I the problem is that I am wheelchair bound, and I don't know if they have wheelchair seats or not left.
Oh, I'm
Because
sure. Oh, well, I'm sure they can figure it out.
okay, you don't think we'll have a problem then?
I don't. I think they'll have to figure it out.
Well, God bless you. That is my friend Vicky, folks. Um, let me tell you a brief story though. 20 years ago, you came to Charlottesville, Virginia, which is like 3 hours from me, and
Okay.
I had just started my job as a columnist, and was trying to work my angle as a columnist. I didn't even know you could get comps for reviewing shows, so I tried that angle, and they gave me one. And wouldn't you know, I got sick the very day I was supposed to go, and I missed
Oh
it.
no.
So I have waited for 20 years for this moment. And now I know why it took me 20 years, because now I have a wife and family to take
Oh.
to
Okay.
this show, all of whom adore you, by the way. At the end of our interview, I promised my wife that I would let her say hello to you if you don't mind.
Okay.
Um, but let me tell you, most people love you for Mama because they love Mama, and I'm not gonna lie, I love Mama too. She reminds me of my Granny Rose, my great grandmother that lived to be 92. Um, and but I, as I told you, I was born with cerebral palsy. I was bound to a wheelchair. I was born on March 25th, the day before your birthday, in 1985, and I had to be placed in a special preschool for handicapped people, and
Mm-hmm.
my preschool teacher's name was Vicki, and I loved Vicki. Well, I was at home watching game shows, as I have always loved, and I was watching Win, Lose, or Draw, and I was obsessed with the color red. And this lady named Vicki comes on with this glorious head of red hair, and I was 3 years old then. I found you on Win, Lose, or Draw, where
Well.
most people found you on Mama and Carol Burnett. So, but I have been in love with you ever since the days of Win, Lose, or Draw. And since I heard I might be talking to you, um, I have been watching all the game show reruns on TV that, and you were on so many of them with the pyramid, the iterations of the pyramid with Dick Clark and the match
Hmm.
game and all the passwords. Was that as much fun as it looked? Because it's very fun to watch you on
Oh
television.
yeah, I love playing games. So
Yeah,
yes, I did those a lot.
and I used to love when you would be just giving it everything you had to come up with a perfect clue to give somebody $25,000 and you'd miss it by 2 seconds, and Dick Clark would come up and give the perfect answer, and you were the
Yes.
you were the only one that gave it back to him. You let him have it when he did that.
Yep.
Um, it was very obvious that you and Dick Clark were good friends. He obviously played a big part in your life. He's responsible for you being the crux of the most famous blooper in television. He had you on American Bandstand when you had the number one hit the night the lights went out in Georgia. But personally, how big of a part in your life did Dick Clark play? What he was obviously a good friend of yours, by the way you went back
He
and forth.
was. He was a very good friend, and he is the person that gave me my gold record too. So
Is that
yeah, I've
right?
known him a lot. American Bandstand, Zach. I don't know if you. I
Yeah.
don't. You probably do. Don't remember that one, but
No,
that's
but
where all of us boomers
yeah,
learned to dance, was watching American Bandstand.
right. And you were on that
Yeah.
show with your number one hit. Yeah.
Yes, I was.
Now I
Yeah.
I, I was a little confused by that because I was thinking Carol gave you your gold record, but
Well, she did, but
yeah,
that was after Dick had given it to me.
I got you.
So
Okay,
they
so
didn't. They wouldn't let me sing that on the Carol Burnett show until it was a hit, because
wow,
that could have been a lot of help for that record. I
Abs-
would think, but they no,
absolutely.
not till it was a hit.
And it was a great record indeed. So
Yes.
then from the game shows, because as I said, I was born. We're born one day apart, so we're both Aries. Maybe that's part of our connection. My Granny Rose, too, that I told you is who I connect Mama with. She was born on March 21st, 4 days before me, and she used to say that everybody who's anybody has a birthday in March. So I believe that to be true.
That's
Um,
true.
and you played a character named Granny Rose, of all things, in The Fox and the Hound 2, uh,
Yes.
the Disney film. So
Hmm.
I all of these things mean something to me, all these connections. What was that like doing Disney voice work?
Oh, it's so fun. I wish I could do a big movie. All the big stars are doing them now. I would love to
Yes,
do that because it's really fun. It's fun to
abs-
do.
absolutely. And I miss the hand drawn animation. It was such
I do
talent.
too.
You
I
know,
do too.
we're headed to
Yep.
We're headed to Disney World at the end of the month. My mother was kind enough to get us a trip, so it's one of those things that I just can't get enough of.
Yeah.
Disney is that we need the magic of Disney in our life today. Um, and so then from the game shows uh, comes your talk show. That happened when I was 7 years old, and I used to beg my babysitter to let me watch Vicki every morning at 10 o'clock. And to this day, you still have that show, because there are some episodes on YouTube now, thank God. That show still holds up. You got to interview Doris Day. You got to
Yeah.
you got to interview Yvonne DeCarlo, who played
Hmm.
Lily Munster. I mean, just all of these fabulous people, and you're a legend right among them. And of course, we know the whole thing with Group W that didn't pan out, and you were shafted basically. Um, uh, Do you feel like that type of show that you're doing, because Rosie and Ellen went on to do the very same thing and to win all kinds of Emmys? Do you feel like that, because you see them doing it, and in my opinion, you are a much more talented and likable personality than those two. Just my opinion. But I
Well, thank
feel
you.
I feel you were deserving of all those Emmys. Do you watch people who were doing what you're trying to do in the '90s and think, man, I was really robbed. They didn't give me a chance.
Oh, well, I went through that whole period of being very upset about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you can't, I don't think you can go back, and I like to move forward. I try to look forward. But yes, that was a very difficult time because the company I worked for just was not very supportive. So
Mm-hmm.
that was that.
And
You
you should have gotten the Emmy for Win, Lose, or Draw. You should have gotten it
know.
for your talk show.
Well, thank you.
You should have all kinds of things, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Well,
So,
I do have all kinds of things, Zach. I have a beautiful family, and I live in a beautiful spot, and I've had a very beautiful life. So,
and that's really what matters. I must acknowledge here, since you mentioned your family, I did not. My condolences on the passing of your husband of 50 years, Mr. Al Schultz,
thank you.
who was the makeup man for CBS, and that's how you found him, or he found you.
Hmm.
He was known for making up Elvis. Is that correct?
He was the last person that did Elvis. He did his last TV special, and I was about 2 weeks from giving birth to our son, Garrett,
Huh?
and Al got a phone call from the production company, Smith Hemian. They used to do a lot of big specials. And they said, we're going to do a TV special with Elvis, and we would like you to come and do the makeup. And so Al got off the phone. He said, "Oh my God, I get to do Elvis." I said, "Well, wait." He said, "I'm leaving. I have to leave in a couple days." I said, "But I'm pregnant. I can't go." He said, "Who said anything about you?" He said,
Right.
"You sit tight. If the baby starts to come, cross your legs. I'm going to do the king." And he was so excited. And he came to find out, he kind of got very friendly with Elvis, and found out that he was a huge fan of the Carol Burnett show, which of course was very upsetting because I would have loved to have met him.
Absolutely.
And Al actually came home from that trip really upset, depressed. He said if somebody doesn't do something to help him, he's not going to be alive much longer, I don't
Right.
think.
He could.
And it was 3 months later.
Oh my goodness.
I had given birth to Garrett, and we were still recuperating. Burnett show hadn't gone back into production yet, and we were kind of taking a nap, and the TV was on, and they broke the programming to say that Elvis had died. And I woke Al up, and he started crying. He said, "I knew it. I knew it." And
Did you ever
yeah.
get over him not letting you go to meet Elvis?
Oh well, I yes,
Okay.
I
Yes.
did.
Well, good. Yeah. Well, you were talking about learning to dance learning through watching American Bandstand. You studied dance in college, and actually, were you attempting to be a professional dancer at that point?
Oh, I don't think so, but I took dance classes my whole life. I
Uh,
feel like every mother, or a lot of mothers, send their daughters to ballet class,
uh,
and we all want to be ballerinas when we're little girls. Our daughter, who is very athletic, still laughs about the fact that I sent her to ballet. And I said, "But aren't you grateful that you know what all the positions are, and you know what an arabesque is, and you know what a pirouette is?" She said, "Yes, I am. It's been very, very helpful for posture, and I think it's a lovely thing for young girls to do." But
well,
she's, a little better at softball and golf.
I bring that up because we recently watched you. Because thank God you can get reruns of Carol Burnett everywhere now. Uh, Dancing with Michael Jackson on the Carol Burnett Show. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now I just saw, well, a couple of years ago, I saw a touring production of the Broadway version of the Michael Jackson story. And
Yes.
there had to be a choreographer in that group, and a choreographer that handled just the Michael Jackson moves. And here you are, young Vicki Lawrence, dancing to the Jackson 5 song Body Language with Michael
Mm-hmm.
Jackson and keeping up with him.
It was pretty fun. I got to dance with all those boys.
You were
Very,
keeping
very
up with
fun.
him.
And we used to go to the same market as the Jacksons.
Oh my goodness.
We lived up in the hills in the valley in Los Angeles, and they lived down in Encino, which is on the other side of the hills.
Right.
But we all went to the same market, and I would see Michael often in the produce section. Hi, Vicky! Hi, Michael! Yeah, I missed him.
Yes.
He was something else. He was just phenomenal. I mean, you mentioned having a choreographer for his moves. I think he was the choreographer for his moves.
Absolutely.
And did you know that he and Fred Astaire were big fans of each other?
Yes, absolutely.
And I used to see Fred Astaire too.
I mean, like you said, you went to the Harvard School of Comedy. Now, when we're talking about redheads, of course, there's Vicki and Carol, but the mother of all redheads, and I don't think you'll disagree with me, was Lucy.
Absolutely.
And you got to meet Lucy and work with her. What was Lucy like?
She was a pretty ballsy gal.
I understand she was.
Very outspoken. The funniest story I can think of is that she was doing a musical number with Carol, and I used to sit in the audience and watch all these people if I wasn't if I didn't have to be on stage, because I felt like I was learning, from the best. And they were doing a musical number, and Lucy couldn't find her starting note. And she said, hold it, stop. She was at the age where she had a very low voice.
Yeah.
Stop, I cannot hear my starting note. And our band leader said, it's on the ukulele. So the ukulele strummed, and she said, I can't hear it. Get him a bigger uke.
And
she was a character.
Did you like Lucy, or were you frightened of her like a lot of people?
Oh, no, she was lovely.
Okay.
Very encouraging. No, she was a lovely lady.
Yeah,
and by then, I was pretty good friends with Betty White, who is also a very bawdy woman.
Mm.
And I love those kind of gals. I think I'm probably one of them.
I think so, and I think that's why that people love you as much as they do.
Well, I think Mama was probably one of those women too.
Mama absolutely is. So, Speaking of Betty White and Mama, that leads me into one of the questions I was going to ask. When Mama's family was in a gap between network and syndication, you lost both Rue McClanahan and Betty White to the Golden Girls.
Yes.
I always thought that you would have been fabulous to be a guest star on Golden Girls. It seemed like just inevitable that you would either as a Mama character, somebody to get in cahoots with Estelle Getty, or as Vicki,
I was a good bit younger than those gals, though.
Oh, but that's the thing. You could fit in with any crowd and own it where you are. And I've got to admit, we have a mutual friend that I want to give a shout out to. I live about an hour away from Mount Airy, North Carolina, where Andy Griffith was born. To show how Southern I am, in case you couldn't tell, and I'm sure you could. I live 1 hour one way from where Andy Griffith was born, and 1 hour another way from where Tennessee Ernie Ford was born. So
wow.
I'm about as Southern as you can get. But every year they have the Mayberry Days, and you have people who were guest stars of the few that are left from the Andy Griffith Show. They show up in Mount Airy, North Carolina, and you get to meet them. And when you meet them year after year, you get to know them pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that I wanted to ask Jackie Joseph, whom I knew was Ken Berry's first wife, I said, "You know Vicki Lawrence, don't you?" And she said, "Yes, I do, and Al." And so we have a mutual friend in Miss Jackie Joseph, and I just adore her. Is she not the sweetest woman?
Yes, she is. I see her, gosh, frequently at a lot of the Comic Cons.